featuring a very special human, Alex Nigerian. In this interview, we're going to be celebrating her, a huge milestone she's been hitting, having her highest cash months. She's been blowing up in her business, literally taking over the internet, taking over the world. And I'm going to bring her up in just a second here. But if you know Alex Nigerian, put an emoji in the caption or in the comments below. Put an emoji below. So before I bring Alex up and she's going to introduce herself and we're going to have a huge celebration and really dive into what has been one of the big catalysts for her growth. When I met Alex in 2022, Alex sent me a DM and I was at the airport in New York City. And it was around Christmas time, and I'll never forget this. Yes, if you know Alex Nigerian, put an emoji in the chat box here. I got a DM from this incredible woman, hey Steph, and I don't even remember like the very, very first message that she sent. But I remember when she said, I want to join the mastermind. I told her the details, and she was in. She's like, I'm in. And then she posted on her Instagram stories. I know this because I have a screenshot of it. I found it recently. And it said, guys, I found my mentor for 2023 with a bunch of celebration emojis underneath of it. I just finished watching her masterclass. Okay, well, you're in for a treat. And she said, guys, I found my mentor for 2023. And I remember that moment, and I remember it, and I have the same feelings about it like I do now. That's why I screenshotted it then. Because I know the power of when you say yes to the mentor that you want to be working with. I know the power of long-term mentorship. And since then, Alex has gone from $2,000 months, and actually at that time, she had a completely different business. And I've watched her grow, getting close to $1 million company. I've watched her grow a community, a movement, and I've watched her go to now $70,000 cash months. And mark my words, she's going to be going to 100K, 200K cash months and beyond. And it all started as a result of her back in 2022 saying, I'm in. Let's do this. And has continued to invest and invest and invest. And we'll now, by the end of 2024, have done 2 years together. And so I'm going to bring Alex up, and I want Alex to come up and introduce herself, and we're going to dive into in the chat below. Let's get Alex up. Hello.
Hi, Bridget.
Wait, let me reach.
Excited here. I'm ready to have the most profound conversation with you. Power.
I am so excited. I am so pumped. And your sound's cutting in and out, but let me know in the chat if it's my phone or Alex's phone if you can hear us.
You guys hear me at a hotel. Wi-Fi should.
Do you have your phone sitting on something?
I do.
Sometimes it does that with the Instagram lives.
Okay. How's this? I'll hold
Okay. It's better.
Cool.
I'm so excited. And if we could go back and look at all of our past Instagram lives, I would say that this is probably the pinnacle. This moment is a turning point. This is like this Instagram live, all 20 of you watching, us two, like we're never going to forget this Instagram live because it's like an event horizon. So I know many of my audience knows you, but can you introduce yourself?
Yeah. I help people be trailblazers. I help people unleash their personal power and take over the internet, building a movement that changes other people's lives and unleash their genius and their it factor all over the internet. And it's the ride of my life, and it's amazing.
Okay. This is huge. And we see you now, and I see you and where you're going. But can you tell my audience, like, we're going to go through your recent celebrations and where the Trailblazers is going recently and where you're going in 2024. But can you take my audience back to who you were when you made a decision in December of 2022?
Absolutely, I can, because working with you, Bridget, has truly changed my life. And anyone watching this, I will attest to that. And people ask me all the time in my DMs, like, how's working with Bridget? Amazing. Run, go do it. And before working with you, I was in a little bit of even what I'll call like a plateau. Like I was just around the 6-figure mark for 3 years in a row. And by the end of 2022, when I found you, I said, I'm done. I'm done like entertaining this old version of me, this like 6-figure version of Alex, which at the time just wasn't expansive for me anymore. It wasn't my level of courage. It wasn't my level of bravery. And I found you and you shifted something in me. And I felt it immediately when I found your masterclass, where you weren't just playing with, here's the strategy, do it, win. You were having conversations about identity, leadership, who you're being. And I said, I'm ready for these conversations. I'm ready to go all in. And it was honestly a really big, courageous leap for me to work with you, because I cut the cord from my fitness business. So I had grown a 6-figure fitness business. That's what I was still primarily doing. And I wanted to pivot into business coaching to teach other fitness professionals how to grow a 6-figure business. And when I cut the cords of the fitness business, because I knew it wasn't my path, after hiring you for the mastermind, I went down to the lowest cash month I've ever experienced in my years as an online coach. I went to a $2,000 month because I had no MRR. I was building an entirely new business. And then it went up to 5K, and then 9K, and 17K, and 20K. And that's where I was. And I want people to hear me in that and like see me in that, because my goal as I build $1 million business this year is really to show people that $2,000 a month was yesterday. That was yesterday. And so much can shift in such a short amount of time when you really choose you and your vision and where you're going.
And that's what I've always seen about you, is it nothing has ever, whether it's a challenge in a launch or something happening in the business, you've always plugged in a mentorship and said, doesn't matter. It's like, I'm in, I'm going to figure it out. We're going to re-strategize. And most people don't get to where you are and don't get to where you're going because they allow things to pull them off their pathway. Whether it's a client failed payments or somebody disputing or a launch doesn't go as planned, you've always been 100% in. And one of the moments I vividly remember is when you were switching from doing business coaching for fitness and health coaches and moving into this bigger movement that you have to this day. And really over the last year, I've watched you pivot out of that and build something that is untouchable. Many people inside of this chat, just put an emoji in the chat box if you're part of the Trailblazers. I remember the fruition of Trailblazers. I remember moments of you saying like, what am I gonna name it? I remember moments in Telegram or Vox or wherever where you're like, it's the Trailblazers. It's it. That's 100% who I am. I even remember moments when you're like, I'm not sure about the name. And so can you talk about that shift of you deciding to play bigger? And I know that's a piece of our work together with building more of a movement style, and you really seeing the fruition of it as well, and like the results of it, the amount of money you can be making, the people coming in. It's a bigger context than just let me sell things on the internet. Can you talk about that shift that you made?
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I was attracted to you and hiring you in the first place was because you were the first person I had seen that introduced this concept of movement to me. And all I had experienced or really thought of before was be a coach on the internet, have offers, send ads to it, grow how many people are buying, come in, they leave, the end. And it just felt so flat to me. It lacked life, it lacked purpose, it lacked magic. And when I found you and I saw what you were doing with Freedom Queen, with a movement, and there's community here and a purpose here, and people are feeling more alive here. People are stepping into different levels of power of here. I said, I know that I'm meant to lead something like that, like my adjacent to that, my movement. And in the beginning, I had to get the reps of what I really wanted to say before I knew the name or what it was going to be called or what our values were.
Yeah.
So a lot of it in the beginning was, I know I'm building something big here, but I need to just get on the ground floor, is something I like to say, with people and see what naturally came up as I was solving problems for clients, hearing what was coming up for them, helping them have breakthroughs, launching, leading myself. And then what uncovered in the process of moving for me first was these mantras, mottos, ways of being. The identity of the Trailblazers naturally started to come forward because I was embodied in it. I was failing and getting back up again. I was moving with courage. I was leaning into the resistance, is something we say. I was taking action. I was innovating. I was stretching myself. I was shifting identities. And as that naturally started to happen, I moved with it factor. That's when the Trailblazers, it landed on me. I remember when I was on the treadmill and I was like, I just want everyone to be a Trailblazer. And I said, oh my God, that's it. And I remember posting it on my Instagram story and making a post about it. You're meant to be the Trailblazer. And it felt like within a week, Trailblazer this, Trailblazer that, Trailblazer this. And by the end of a week, people are like, Alex Nigerian, the Trailblazers. That happened fast, right? I was like, wow, you associate. Someone had me on their podcast and said, when I think of Trailblazer, I think of you. And I'm like, wow, that association happened quick.
Yeah.
But I think it was because I had gotten in all of those reps beforehand that it naturally happened.
Yeah, everybody wants the end. They want the pinnacle. They want the movement, the 50,000, 70,000, 100,000, beyond $1 million years. But no one's willing to actually put in that work in those moments where you had to become the trailblazer in order to lead the Trailblazers. You had to go through things that make most people quit. And that's something that always has stood out about you to me, is that in those moments when you could have quit, when you could have said, okay, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this, whether it was a client issue or whatever, all the things that just naturally happen in business, you said, I'm in. You would come into our Slack space and message me there, or you would reinvest again. And that's why, mark my words, and everybody watching this, you're going to watch Alex continue to blow up, continue to soar. And this is why I really believe this Instagram Live is such a pivotal moment in your business, because it's like there was the before this and then there's the after and what it is that you're creating. So when let's go to, have you announced what you just dropped on your masterclass at all?
I haven't announced it on social media, but we can announce it here. I just announced it on the masterclass.
Okay, because I wanted you to talk about the event that you went to, the Tony Robbins event, and then coming to Costa Rica, because that was also a pivotal moment in your business.
Yes. So I actually just talked about this on my masterclass because I'm having another huge identity up level, decision up level coming off of this trip in Hawaii. I'm actually in Las Vegas now, but I just did a week and a half say yes to everything with my partner, love of my life, Justin. And I chose to go into that trip saying, this is another, as you say, event horizon. I'm choosing bigger. This is a decision. I'm not just going and drinking margaritas on the beach in Hawaii. I'm like using this as a complete vortex of shifting. And I did. And I had done that before with you on your retreat in Costa Rica. And I remember what that was, where when you offered the Costa Rica retreat, I remember saying, I'm going to get around Bridget for her identity. And I remember thinking that. I remember saying to myself, you know, it's one thing to see her in mastermind calls answering questions. It's one thing to see her in her zone of genius teaching something on Zoom. And I said, I want to see how she is when she's drinking coffee in the morning, which may sound strange to people, but I get that this game is an identity game. I get that it's an identity game. I get it's how you think about things. It's how you react to things, or respond to things, I should say, or don't react to things. It's your way of operating. And so when you gave me that Costa Rica retreat opportunity, I said, this is a yes for me, not because I think we're going to mastermind my launch plan, but because I want to understand what can't come with me on an identity level and what gets to shift on an identity level. And it was interesting because I don't know if you know this, I haven't really shared this with you, but I was really clocking you. I was clocking you on the retreat, like what you gave energy to, what you didn't, what you reacted to, what you didn't. And I would notice things like, okay, in the morning, you were up first with your journal, with your coffee already before everyone else was up. I would notice things like, oh, I got to send an email to my list. And it would take you a total of 60 seconds to open the laptop, write an email, and send it. You wouldn't overthink it. You wouldn't spend time contemplating it. Action was done. There was no energy leaks before and after it. I clocked that. There was like things would come up like, I forgot my passport and I was late to the retreat, and or like something got mixed up with an experience or a location, but you weren't flustered by it. You didn't give energy. This is a problem. It was, okay, here's what we're doing. No energy leak, neutrality around a problem. And so I clocked all of it. And I remember coming back on the plane ride of Costa Rica and I was crying on the plane ride, and I was crying, and it was an identity shift for me. Like I recognize that feeling now. It was an identity shift of shedding a skin. Here's what can't come with me to my next level. Like I can't do the people pleasing. I can't hold myself back from my growth to try to be relatable. I can't hold myself back from higher standards and boundaries so that clients like me. I have to be the leader for people. I have to hold higher standards. I have to have a different way of being. And it was like I was squeezing a hug goodbye to this old version of Alex and stepping into someone new. And we came back, new standard of income reflected it immediately. First 50K month that November, and then we were averaging like 45K months for 6 months in a row. It was like lowest cash month this year has been like 37K in January, and now we're up to 72K cash. Huge up level. And I really go back to that being a pivotal moment of getting sky high. Like something I like to say is like, we do moments on the ground floor, seasons of the ground floor, serving clients, getting in the weeds, learning from that. But then we have to get sky high, bird's eye view, like come back up to the vision. What's next? What needs to shift? Like what can't come with me? And that was that retreat for me. And I just did it again in Hawaii. And that's how I know I'm going to $1 million cash this year.
Yeah. And it's like in-person events, you can't hide.
Yeah.
So everything comes up. You're standing there with the person in front of you, and you can feel their frequencies. And I've always known this about you. You're always observing. Yeah. And that's what makes you such an incredible business owner and leader, is that bird's eye view. I know we've talked about this a lot, like the ability to zoom out and go, what's really going on here? Yeah. Beyond what people are saying to me, beyond what people are teaching you, what is really going on here? How are they actually leading themselves or playing the game here? And most people are so sucked in, but you've always had this like, I'm just gonna watch, I'm gonna observe, see how they're playing, and that's why you've had this type of quantum growth. And then in person, you see someone and it's so clear for you to notice the gaps and go, okay, well, how are they operating versus how I'm operating? And you can close it. And that's why, you know, some people will have a jump in income. Like they'll go to 50K and then go back down. But after that, those events that you went to, you didn't need to go to Costa Rica. You were already into my mastermind. You had no reason to sign up for an in-person event. You were just at Tony Robbins, then flying to Costa Rica, forgetting your passport, still coming late, even though it was a little bit of time, and going there and experiencing that. And then you completely up level to that new standard. So what would you say are some of the new standards, not them, but that you have now in your business? Let's say around like the May, June, July time.
I would say the biggest shift I've made recently that I feel like I'm deepening and owning more and more and more, that was a huge piece of scaling, was I can't let where I'm going be dictated by what other people are or aren't doing. And what I mean by that is I just so deeply for a long time wanted everyone to want this as badly and as I do and be as committed as I do. So there was a little bit of leaks in the beginning of my coaching career and even the beginning of last year of like, I'll just do it for you. Like, I'll make sure it's really affordable so that everyone can pay for it. And I'll like go over on calls, or
Yeah.
I'll write the copy for you, or and it's like I was trying to be everyone's savior. And then if I was worried, like, oh, I really feel like I need to increase my prices or change the boundaries or shift the deliverables, it's like, but are people going to come with me? Are they going to resign? Or is that price increase going to make them not resign? And I'm just being very transparent here. I had to go, that's not up to me. That's up to them. I had to go, like, I've got to let myself fly. And I went from being more of a like savior coach to more of a leader coach, more of a, I'm going to be a model for people. I'm going to be a leader for people. And it's my job to soar as high as I want to soar and not be held back for fear of my growth, making people uncomfortable or not like me, and be okay with, if people leave, that's okay. If people don't like me, that's okay. If I make people uncomfortable, that's okay, because I'm here. And I know this about myself now. I'm here for the people who are playing the game like I play the game. And it's like, not everyone's doing that, right? It's one, I would say it's 1% of people. So I'm here for the 1%. And there's an ownership around that now that I have, that I know about me, and I'm loud about, clearly unapologetic about it now, that I didn't have 18 months ago.
Yeah. And that's a really scary point for a lot of business owners. Yeah. And most people will stay in the like the people pleasing, the kind of always meeting your clients where they are versus calling them to rise.
Yes.
And it's scary because you deeply care about your people. You deeply love them. You deeply believe in them. You want them to succeed. But what happens is if you always meet them where they are, they never get a chance to really fly and grow, versus you've truly been trailblazing. And you, not that you turn the other way, but you say, I'm going to go first. I'm going to lead you. That makes so many more people go, I'm in. Oh, because, well, Alex is going for it. She's saying, watch me, completely flying. I got to move. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I always say, like, the mark of a real leader is they pivot, they move, and people follow. If you're pivoting and moving and people aren't interested, like, you know, the masterclass that you just hosted, you have so many people interested. That's the mark of a true leader. You do something, people follow. And that's as a result of you constantly choosing over and over again to lead and build something bigger. So as we begin to wrap up this live, where are you taking Trailblazers? What's happening right now? Is there anything that you want to share around the Trailblazers of shifts that are occurring? Or you can also share anything that you want to share to my audience. Well, in terms of offers.
Like I've shared on this live, I've really decided, and I feel confident in saying, because it's a decision, like, I'm not trying to, I'm going to hit $1 million cash this year. Bridget, I'm so excited to do it alongside you, playing a much bigger game. And so what that looks like in terms of growing that hard and that fast is setting my soul on fire with the work that I'm doing, raising the standards, and really like loving, shoving, and soaring anyone who wants to come with me on that. Like any client that's like, I'm in for this game. And to your point, when you talk about having fear of meeting people where they're at and wondering if they don't come with you, I find that the people that really want to rise are so excited that I'm rising. And that's the same way I feel about you. It's such a ripple effect. Like when you win, I'm like, go girl, go, like, go host your conference, go make your $1 million months, because I'm like, great. Like I want to do it by your side, and it's going to call me to go higher. So I find that it's just calling my clients who really want to do this. They're like, yes, go there, queen. So something that I'm doing now with the Trailblazers is, and I just launched this on the back end of the Leap Masterclass, which, by the way, the Leap Masterclass is free for now. I'm going to turn it into a paid training because it was truly the most profound piece I've ever done. It was the biggest masterpiece I've done so far in my career. Like the conversation I just had with everyone was profound. People are like, it was amazing. So make sure you get that. It's a free masterclass, but it will turn paid. Just follow me on Instagram and DM me Leap and I'll get you that. But what we're doing now that I'm so excited about is in-person experiences. So I'm doing a New York City group VIP day where we're doing It Factor brand shoots, a luxury dinner.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a birthday party for me for my 30th birthday, like rooftop. Bridget's invited. Like current clients are invited, and just that, like, experience in New York City. I remember when I did that brand shoot coming back from Costa Rica,
Yes.
and I
That's
used
right.
it as this complete identity up level, and it completely changed how my audience perceived me. Like, if you are interested, anyone watching this, and you go back to what my feed looked like in October of 2023, it's like, who is this hot pink cutie? Not Alex Nigerian, right? Not this version. And so I like shifted the branding with these images, and it was just a huge declaration to my audience without needing to say anything, just with images, like,
Yes.
time to rise.
Something around that, you had messaged me saying, Bridge, my feed needs to up level. Like, I remember this whole conversation I was talking about in Costa Rica, and then you went and booked that shoot.
Yes.
And it's like, you can think I know many people watching this, you want to up level your brand, you want your feed to look better, but you actually have to move and do something. And so the fact that you're offering people a brand shoot, like, it's going to change their business forever.
It's going to change their business forever. And I went like favorite photographer, full on, hair and makeup included. This isn't like find a random photographer in New York City and point and shoot on the street. This is like studio. We're doing like brand planning before. So there's going to be a mastermind session where we're planning, like, how do you want to unleash, what values, what characteristics, what poses, what colors. So everyone's really set to jet in a really potent brand shoot. This isn't just look like every other coach with a coffee and a laptop. This is like unleash you, like declaration to where you're taking your movement. And we're doing that with the best photographer, my favorite photographer in New York City, studio, hair and makeup included, luxury dinner. So that's one option for an in-person experience. And we're doing a retreat in Puerto Rico. Long weekend, excursions, masterminding, like slumber party identity shifts, up leveling with the women inside of a luxury house in Puerto Rico. And if you want, you can come to both. And wait, it gets better. Wait, if you join both NYC and Puerto Rico, I'm buying your ticket to Freedom Queen Live, because why wouldn't I? Because we all need to be at Freedom Queen Live. So that's the vibe. That's the tea.
It's huge. And if you're interested in one or the other or both, send Alex a message. What should they DM you? Leap or just message?
Message me. Ready? Write this down. Leap for the masterclass, NYC for the NYC day, PR for the Puerto Rico retreat, or a bundle if you want PR and NYC.
And I would just go bundle.
Go bundle.
And the reason is because they're all stacking together. It's like September, October, November, all back to back.
Like, can you imagine whoever's choosing to do this, who they will become if they go Freedom Queen Live in September, New York brand shoot, luxury dinner, birthday rooftop, October, luxury Puerto Rico retreat. Your business can't not explode. You'll be a different human being.
Yeah. And what I really believe, and I know you know this because I share this with you, I really believe the rest of 2024 is going to be massive for some people. Yeah. I mean, massive. It's going to be huge for you. For the people that really choose to go all in or leap or whatever that looks like, go for it in the rest of 2024. Like, there's going to be insane opportunities for people who actually seize the day and go to events like this, go to New York City, go to Puerto Rico, go to Freedom Queen Live, invest in themselves, go bigger in masterminds, go bigger in private mentorship. Like, I just know this, and I've been watching the online space for a while. We're going to see a huge fork in the road of people who like quantum leap, like 10x their entire business, and people who kind of stay the same. And so the fact that you are doing this, you're 10xing, you're trailblazing, the fact that you're giving your community an opportunity to say, hey, do you want to do this? People that do take this opportunity will 100% 10x by the end of 2024, and it will affect 2025 and even into 2026. Like, the moves that you made in 2022 are still rippling into who you are right now in your business.
Totally.
Well, this was amazing. I know we have a call coming up, which I'm so excited for. Do you want to share any final words with my audience before we close out?
Just lead with courage, be who you need to be, and decide that you're going to do it. And when you're truly decided, you're going to do it. And there is no like trying to next year, you know, maybe I'll do it. It would be nice to do it. And you just get yourself to the place where behind the scenes, when the cameras are off in your mind, you're saying, I'm doing this. I'm going to do what it takes. When there's wobbles, when there's challenges, it's just making you stronger and you be the leader that you need to be. That is a match for being a leader of a movement. That's a match for people wanting to pay you at high price points and follow you because you're leading yourself first. And if you don't do that, it's not a match. And that's like my honest truth.
Yeah. Well, Alex, I love you. Since day one when you messaged me, I always knew, okay, this woman's you're gonna do something amazing, and this is really just scratching the surface. Like, and I really meant what I said by this Instagram Live. There's something about this Instagram Live, our call today, the work that you're doing, you dropping the masterclass today with all of those people. Like, you see Alex Nigerian now, watch her. Watch her for the rest of 2024. You just trailblaze and you take everything to another level.
You're amazing. Thank you for being you. I'm obsessed with being in your world. Ride or die. Go hire Bridget. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye, Alex.
Bye.